Good morning, Alvin ISD kindergartners. Welcome back to our subtraction lesson for today. I am Miss Langford. I am one of the math coaches here in Alvin, and hopefully you were able to join me for our addition lesson, because if so, you will already be prepared for what's to come with our subtraction lesson. And so I'm just gathering up my materials here. Today, just like we did with addition, we're going to be needing some counters. I have some two-colored counters here. They are red on one side and yellow on the other. If you do not have two-colored counters, no worries. You may use coins, cereal, beads, beans, anything that you have that is small enough to fit in your 10 frame. And then also I have some markers here. Now today I have my red and my yellow again, and I also have my black, and you'll see why in just a minute. So if you need a little bit of time to gather your materials, please pause the video and do that now. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and move on to today's content and learning objective. Today's content objective says, I can solve word problems using objects and drawings to find sums up to 10. Well, first of all, Miss Langford has made a mistake. And you know what? That is okay, because one of the habits of a mathematician is that mathematicians make mistakes. Today we are working on subtraction. So we are not working on sums, boys and girls. We are working on differences. Differences. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to cross that out. And I am going to replace that with differences within 10. Oh, it's kind of hard to write this way, but that's okay. Differences within 10. And remember, differences are the answers to a subtraction problem. Again, mistakes are just one of the habits of a mathematician. We learn from them, and it makes us stronger at math. So again, our language objective now states that I can explain differences within 10. I got it right that time. Using the sentence stem blank, take away blank is blank, or blank is blank, take away blank. So let's get started. Remember that a word problem is simply another name for a math story. So our first word problem says that there were 5 girls playing hopscotch at recess. 2 girls left to go swing. How many girls are playing hopscotch now? Well, just like I did with my addition stories, I'm going into my problem first, and I'm looking for the things that I already know. I already know that 5 girls were playing hopscotch. I also know that 2 girls left to go swing. My story asks me how many girls are playing hopscotch now. So in order to solve my problem, my word problem of differences up or within 10, I'm going to represent that problem with counters. So I'm going to start with my 5 girls playing hopscotch. Now, you'll notice that Miss Langford did not go through and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't have to do that because if you remember, just like we talked about in our addition lesson, the top row of our tens frame has 5 places. So I already knew that I just needed to fill up that row if I wanted to represent my 5 girls playing hopscotch. Now, my story also tells me that 2 girls left to go swing. Now, it doesn't matter which 2 girls we pick, but Miss Langford's going to pick the 2 that are right here at the end. Those 2 girls left to go play on the swings. They were tired of playing hopscotch. Their legs wanted some rest. They wanted to go swing and feel the air and enjoy the swings for a little bit. So how many girls were left playing hopscotch? 3. You're right. We have 1, 2, 3 girls left playing hopscotch. So I'm going to show you now what that's going to look like if we were going to model that using a drawing or try to solve that using a drawing. Remember, when I'm using a drawing as my representation to solve, I'm simply replacing my objects with a picture. So there's my 5 counters, and 2 of my girls went to go swing. Now, Miss Langford's going to choose to use her black instead of her yellow because I don't want to mess up my yellow marker. Sometimes, you know, when we use yellow markers, they get other colors on them, and I don't want to mess that one up. So I'm going to use black. So those 2 girls left to go swing. So if I cannot count these because they have X's on them, how many girls do I have left playing hopscotch? You're right. I still have 3. So it doesn't matter if I'm using my objects or a drawing. I can still solve my problem and use my sentence stems to say 5 take away 2 is 3. I could also say 3 is 5 take away 2. Let's look at another one. My sister bought 8 books from the book fair. She gave me 4 books. How many books does my sister have left? So I know that my sister bought 8 books from the book fair. I also know that she gave me 4 books. So she separated her books. She separated those books into a group of books for her and a group of books for me. Wasn't it nice? Yeah, it's always nice to share. So let's see how we can model that using our objects. I'm going to be using counters. You might have counters. You may have something else. So let's start with 8 books. We know that she bought 8 books. And again, I'm not counting these by ones because I know this is 5 if I filled up the top row. So now I can just count on from 5, 6, 7, 8. That is an efficient way that a mathematician works. We can count on from 5. So now that I have my 8 books there, my sister was kind enough to share with me, and she gave me 4 books. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if she took these 4 books and she gave them to me, how many books does my sister have left? 4. She also has 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could use our sentence stem and say 4 take away, there goes Miss Langford with that mathematician mistake again. I'm looking at the numbers on the screen and I'm reading ahead of myself. I could use my sentence stem to say 8 take away 4 is 4. I could also say that 4 is 8 take away 4. Either way is correct, boys and girls. So if I'm using this same problem to model it in a pictorial representation or in a drawing, I would still start with my 8 books by putting in 5 in the top row and then counting on 6, 7, 8. There's my 8 books that my sister bought from the book fair. She gave me 4. So I'm going to cross off the 4 books that she gave me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this not the same thing that we just did with our counters? Absolutely. So even if you don't have counters, as long as you have something to write with, you can still solve your problem. And our last problem for today says that there were 10 boys jumping rope. 3 of them stopped to play soccer. How many boys are still jumping rope? So again, the first thing I do is I go into my problem, I look for what I know, and I know that there were 10 boys jumping rope. I also know that 3 of them stopped to play soccer. So I'm going to use my counters to represent that, and I want you to watch because Miss Langford is just talking. I'm not really even counting at all. All I'm doing is putting those counters in the tens frame. Does anybody know why I didn't count those? You're right. A 10 frame already has 10 spots. So if there were 10 boys, I know that all I needed to do was put 1 counter in each of those spots. I didn't have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to know that that was 10 because a 10 frame already has 10 spaces. I filled my 10 frame up with 10 counters. So I've represented my 10 boys that are jumping rope. But remember, my story also tells me 3 of them stopped playing soccer. I counted 1, 2, and 3. These 3 boys ran off. They were like, nope, we're done playing jump rope. We want to go over here and play soccer. We're going to move them out of the way. And so now I have how many boys left? 7. If you said 7, you are correct. Give yourself a round of applause. We know that this is 7 because we already know this is 5. We counted on 6, 7. Or maybe we counted them one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Either way is correct. Miss Langford just likes to show you the more efficient way of doing that. And so using my sentence stems, why don't you try to say it with me? Let's use the first sentence stem. 10 take away 3 is 7. Can you say that with me? 10 take away 3 is 7. Now let's try it with our second sentence stem. 7 is 10 take away 3. Say it with me. 7 is 10 take away 3. Either way is correct. Lastly, we are going to use a drawing to solve this problem. We're going to do it the exact same way. Remember, do I need to count? Do I even need to go in order? I can just fill this 10 frame up because I already know without counting that when that's full, there's 10 boys jumping rope. It doesn't matter how you fill that 10 frame, top to bottom, side to side, or back and forth. We know that it is still 10. Remember, 3 of those boys stopped to play soccer. 1, 2, 3. How many boys are still jumping rope? You're right. The answer is still 7 because nothing changed other than the way that we showed our representation. We simply took our counters that we had placed on our 10 frame and we replaced them with a drawing. We replaced this one with an X, we replaced this one with an X, and we replaced this one with an X. All of these were simply represented with the red dot. I hope that you enjoyed today's math lesson, but before we go, we have got to go back and we have got to look at our content and language objectives. We've got to give ourselves an assessment. Did you know it's okay to grade yourself and let yourself know how well you did? So, I can solve word problems using objects and drawings to find differences within 10. Did we do that today? In our language objective, I can explain differences within 10 using the sentence stem, blank, take away blank is blank, or blank is blank, take away blank. And I think we did a great job of that today. Happy learning, guys. Have a great day.